name is Amaka. It's so lovely to be doing this again. I have a bit of mixed feelings about this.
Say what?
Let me tell you why. Because I haven't done a video in a while, and it's always hard when you haven't done a video in a while or done anything at all in life in a while to start again and get into the groove of doing it again. My commitment is to do 2 videos every week, but in the last few weeks I haven't been able to keep up with that. Life is happening. I started working full-time again, and a lot of other things come with that. So that means I don't have a lot of time during the day to record videos. So I'm doing this at about 6:30 p.m. and it's evening. Thankfully, it's still bright outside. I like doing the videos outside because it's good for me too, to just get some fresh air in the day. So I use it as an opportunity to just connect with nature, within my space. So it's lovely to be here. I won't lie, I miss doing the videos, I miss sharing my thoughts, I miss this freestyle form of just talking about things that are on my mind and things that I'm learning. It's just lovely to be doing it again. And let me just add this caveat that there's somebody that holds me accountable for doing these videos, and the person has been sending me messages every day to say, when am I expecting the next one, so this is the next one, for that person. I won't expose you, okay? I won't expose you. But also for you out there, to all the people that have shared, to all the people that have subscribed, to all the people that have talked about these videos in parties, yourselves, I really appreciate the free PR. I really appreciate the fact that you're finding it useful. I'm hoping that in the future it can be better quality, it can be more organized, but I'm glad that even in this raw, unprocessed form, that you're getting something from it and you're appreciating it. And I really send that appreciation back to you, because it makes all the difference to me that if one person at least is learning something new. So enough of the rambling. That's what's been going on for me recently. Today I thought we would just talk about parenting and self-care. We're in that phase of life, isn't it? Most of my peers are in their 30s, heading to 40s, and you either have had children, or you're right in the middle of having one, or you are planning to have one, or you're thinking about having one, or you're trying to have one. It's just there's a lot of children in this phase of life, and it's amazing in many ways. Children are a blessing from God. Children are a heritage from God. They bring so much joy to every family. They are so well celebrated, even to the point that the people that give birth to them are a bit neglected. And the work of parenting is indeed a very serious job. I take it very seriously, and I hope you take it very seriously, because you're literally in charge of somebody's life, somebody's destiny. You can cause them so much delay, and you can also accelerate and speed up their fulfillment of their purpose by the kind of parent that you are. And I think that's why this topic is really, really important. Being a parent is such a blessing. It's such an honor, and I'm talking from my own view and from my own experience. My journey to it has not been easy, but I really don't know who I'll be without the lessons that I've learned on the way. And one of my main lessons, which is really the foundation of everything I do with Mind of Makus, is self-care, learning to care for myself while parenting. Right while you're in the thick of it, not after they've gone to uni, not after they've gone to secondary school, not when they're away on holiday. Right in the thick of it, when they're there with you, how do you care for yourself? And it's something that nobody taught me. Maybe I saw 1 or 2 people practicing some good things that I liked, and I decided to adopt. But I think that we can talk about it and we can learn from one another, just easier ways of doing things, ways that are a bit relatable. And so the approach I'm taking is really, as I said, it is a serious job, parenting. There's no compromising on that. But you yourself as a parent, you're also somebody that needs taking care of. And I read this book. The title of the book is The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read. It's by Philippa Perry. It's totally life-changing. Another one, I think, by Oliver James, who is a psychologist, is They Fuck You Up. It talks about, the scripts that you've had written for you by the families that you originated from, and how they play out in your normal life, in your relationships, in your business, in your jobs, in your everyday life. So it's important that we just take note of the fact that we ourselves as parents, we came from a background. We didn't just fall from the sky and become parents. We grew up, we were once children, we were once taught things, we once copied things, we once had to figure things out by ourselves because nobody was there to teach us. And so if you remember how you were as a child, if you remember things that you went through, the difficulties that you had, some of the challenges that you had to becoming an adult, throughout the journey, the people you met, how they affected you, how they made you feel, the kind of care you got, those kind of things, it gives you a bit of perspective as to what life is like for your children. And all I'm saying can be summarized by one word: empathy. Having empathy for your children and the experience they're going through. They're learning everything around them. They're learning. The expectation that they be perfect, I think it is not fair, because we also made our mistakes. And so first of all, taking that burden of yourself as a parent that your children should be perfect is one of the highest self-care practices I give myself. And I hope that you do that for yourself too. Your children do not need to be perfect. You only need to make sure that they are loved, they are safe, they are fed, and they are warm if you're in a cold environment, and they're well cared for. And I think that if you're even watching this, you're already a good parent, because only people who are interested in being better will be watching this. So remove the expectation that your children should be perfect or they should live up to some standard that you set that even you yourself could not live up to. So erase that. Every child is individual. Every child does not have the same parents. Every child does not have the same parents.
It's funny because it's true.
And that's even among your children, because your parenting style is affected by the personality of your child, affected by the circumstances under which that child was born, affected by the way you feel in your life at the time that child is growing up. So the way you treat your first child is probably not the way you treat your sixth child or the way you treat your third child. It's very different. You're financially different. You've gotten new ideas and new philosophies that you're practicing. You also have more experience. So each child has a different parent. So using a cookie cutter method to parent is a sure way of harming yourself as a parent. So removing those expectations for me is the number one self-care tip I'll give you. Yeah. Another one is finding out who you were as a child, what you needed as a child, parenting your inner child. So you've gotten rid of the expectations on your children. Now you're going to look into yourself, what was the thing that was lacking for me as a child? Because these things matter. We carry them with us. They grow up with us. We keep seeking out that thing that was missing. If we don't attend to it, we will always keep seeking it out. And sometimes we project those things on our children, on our partners. So we have to really be self-aware enough to start digging. You will not find all of it, but once you start digging, you start finding things. But if you put your head in the sand and you pretend like everything is fine, and you're this whole big adult that has all these plans, and you don't parent the child that is inside you, the child you once were, you'll be walking around with wounds that are not healed, and you just be bleeding all over the place, and that includes on your children. Guess what makes you scream? Guess what makes you lose your temper, punish them? Guess what makes you get into arguments with your partner? Guess what makes you not be able to listen before you react, and you do things that you have to apologize for later because you just cannot wait before you explode? Guess what makes you just want to go online and spend money instead of having a difficult conversation or talking to somebody about boundaries, and you just avoid anything that has to that challenges you? Your inner child has not been taken care of. You have a need that is unmet, and that's why you do that. So my second self-care tip really is to look into yourself and determine the kind of things that you would have liked as a child, and guess what, you're going to do it for yourself. So assuming you always wanted doll babies as a child, you never got one, what do you do now as an adult?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Buy yourself a doll baby. Yes. Buy it. You might go off it, you might not use it, but buy it because it will satisfy something inside you. If you can afford to give yourself the things that you think you needed as a child, give yourself that. Some of us need to forgive ourselves for things we did as children and we did not know and we got blamed for, and the person has not apologized. Maybe somebody wrongfully called you a thief, and you grew up all your life being referred to as that child that steals. You carried that hurt, and so now you're not oversensitive about anything that has to do with your children. You don't allow them visit other people, you don't allow them go out, they don't leave your side, you're tracking them, you're over protective. It's because of that thing that happened when you were a child. So now what will you do? You forgive those people, you heal that wound, You tell yourself sorry. You tell yourself you are now grown. You are not a thief, and you can do things with dignity, with integrity, with honor. So you give yourself all those things. So I'm talking about material things. I'm also talking about emotional and psychological things. You were not getting hugs from your parents. Get hugs from your children. Request. Tell them, oh, I need a hug today. Can you give mommy a hug? Can you give daddy a hug? Or request from your partner. There are people around in your life that love you. Your friends. I don't think I will ask my friend to hug me and she will say why. Request those things. You can make a demand on people in your life now. You are now an adult. You have control. Everything is in your hand. You're no more the helpless child. So do it. Show yourself that care, that regard. Give yourself those things. Meet those unmet needs. So if you can make a list and you say, what are my needs? I attended a workshop one time. They called it a needs creed. And you had to write 10 things that you need that brings you back to yourself. For some people, it can be music. For some people, it's a hug. Some people, it's warm food. Some people, it's just the environment being warm and not being cold. Some people, it's just having someone to sit with them and talk to them or rub their feet. Some people, it's a bath. Whatever it is for you, write it down. And I say write it down because the art of writing it down, you're bringing something out of your head, out of your spirit into paper. It's a very powerful process. Do it. Write down your needs creed. It's such a good way to care for yourself because you have something physical on earth that reminds you of the things that you do. So that when you get all flustered, when you get a bit irritated, when you start to feel sad in yourself for no reason, you know exactly what you need to do to get yourself back to 10 over 10. And it's very important. It's a very powerful tool. I know I'm joking about it, but it is a very important tool. So that's number 2. Number 3, I've already started talking about it before. I'm sorry about the background sound, but I cannot stop now. Number 3 is asking people around you to show you some grace and you to give them some grace. So on the days you're not able to meet up with some of your responsibilities, there are a few things you can do. You can ask for help. So a few things you can do is that you can outsource. You can pay somebody to do it. If you don't have money, you can just reduce your expectations. If the dishes are not washed before you go to bed, I know that in your parents' house, nobody went to bed without washing, without the kitchen being spick and span. But this is you now in the 21st century, without anybody to help you in the house, and you are dying under the load. Give yourself some grace. Let some things drop. Over time, you would get out of this phase of being intensely in the parents' phase, and your kids will be able to help with chores and things. But give yourself grace. And it's part of what I was saying about dropping the expectations. If you haven't dropped the expectations, small things like this will be really, really hard for you. You want your living room to be perfectly white, when with your children not writing anything on the wall, so that when visitors come to your house, they can praise you and tell you that your house is beautiful. Guess what? You have a toddler that is 2 years old. You also have another one that is 9 months old, and they smell feces all over your white walls or your light blue walls. And then next thing, you pick up slippers and start beating these children. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It is you that your expectations are not realistic. Your expectations are not realistic, so you need to adjust them. So find help, find ways to outsource things, find ways to delegate things. If you're living with another adult in the house, whether it's a man or a woman or whatever you're living with in the house, another capable person that is responsible, ask them to do some things. Don't take it all on yourself and then get angry because nobody is helping you. Nobody is a witch or wizard. If you don't tell me that you need help with the laundry, I will not know you need help with the laundry. And some people actually need to be told. Some people are that literal. They don't have initiative, is what I found. And it's fine. We're all different in this world, and that's what makes the world beautiful. So use the resources around you. If you have neighbors that are kind, ask them to take your children for 1 hour so you can take a nap. Ask them to organize activities where you can drop your kids and have time to yourself as an adult with other adults. Pay for babysitting if you can't pay for babysitting, do exchange of skills. So some people can sew. Okay, if I sew for you, will you babysit for me for 2 hours on weekend? Or if I tidy up your wardrobes for you, would you do that for me? So swap skills. You don't always have to pay for stuff. You can do a skill swap and contribute something to somebody's life. Let them do something for you. Utilize all these things that I'm telling you to do. There are things that I have tried and they are quite useful. There are things that other people have tried and they found quite useful. There are so many ways that you can free up time for yourself. Another way to care for yourself as a parent is to check in with each other. If you have a partner, not talking about things that have to do with caring for the children or things that have to do with housekeeping, talking about your relationship, talking about, okay, where are we, what are we doing, setting goals for your relationship. Not of course you set your family goals if you're in a family structure, But setting goals for your relationship as a couple, what should we be working on at this time? What are we trusting God for? I'm Christian, so you get a lot of Christian references. What are we trusting God for at this time? What should we be praying about? What's on your mind? How is work? Having those adult conversations. And I find that it's hard to have them with children around. So as much as possible, if I have a day off, I try to make sure that my partner also gets a day off and we spend that time together. And that's something that I've really found quite useful. We try not to talk about the children. Eventually goes there. I would not lie to you, but it's just good to be that intentional to take out time for each other as adults, just adults. It's amazing. Yeah. Another way to care for yourself as an adult is to have a good network of people around you. As a parent, is to have a good network of people around you that support you as a parent, that want you to succeed as a parent. People who share your ideas, your philosophies, people who you can trust with the challenges that you're going through. There are lots of groups online. There are groups on WhatsApp. There are groups on the internet, all sorts of blogs and stuff you can get all these groups from. There are also physical meetup groups that you can meet people. So it's not necessarily that when you join these groups you find people of like minds, but it is likely that over time you start to see people who think like you, and you can reach out with them and you can become friends and swap ideas and learn things from them. I found having WhatsApp groups useful. At 2 a.m. you're breastfeeding, you just are feeling really, really hungry and everybody in your house is asleep, but there's another mom somewhere also doing the same thing like you. So you both go downstairs, turn on the TV with your babies and keep each other company while you chat and all that kind of stuff. So it is useful to find, that support, people who support you as a parent, people who are also parents in the middle of it. That's not to say that your friends that are not parents are not supportive. They will support you, but it's a different kind of support. Life is not black or white, there are so many shades in between. Having people who are parents supporting you is invaluable. There are so many things that I didn't know until I entered parenting groups. So the last one now, I hope these things are actually sinking in. The last one now is your ideas about who you are, your philosophies about what life is, the resources that you reach for. Are you learning about being a parent? Because I know that, it feels as if you come to the world and you become a parent and you just plumped into the job. But that's a choice that you make now, especially because there's so much information available. The second you decide you want to have a baby, it's time to start studying. It is a whole school all by itself. You can study. You won't be 100% ready, but if you're even 20% or 40% ready, yeah, better than the person that is 0% ready. So studying, I made some references some books earlier. I read those books like 7 years ago. I'm still reading. I still buy books on parenting. It's my favorite genre of book to buy. I may not read everything at once, but I reach out for them and check, the chapters and read the relevant stuff that I need to read. It's so important to have some guidance as to what you're doing. And people have done this for centuries and ages before us. Nothing is new. Nothing is new. Social media is new, yes, but parenting, it has been done since the ages past. And there are so many skills and so many tips that work. So start buying parenting books. Some of them are nonsense, but most of them are quite good. Somebody who comes to mind now is Sarah Lockwell Smith. She writes so many books about parenting. There's this other one. How can I forget? It's such a really good book. I've given you the book you wish your parents had read. Books by Dr. Shefali Sabari are really good. Just check parenting books. There are so many of them, and so many of them are very, very useful. They range from teaching you about sleep to diet to discipline to raising godly children. There's so many resources out there, and it's not just that you're reading to become a parent or to be a better parent. You are also being changed. You are being transformed. Your mind is being transformed. And that's why this 5th tip is about your head, your mindset. What is your mindset? What do you believe being a parent is? What do you believe your role as a parent is? What do you believe that your children are going to become? What do you believe that your children can achieve? This will help you, because it's almost like you have a blueprint, and so when they deviate from the blueprint, you're deviating from the blueprint, and you have a guide to bring them back to course. And it's so useful to study, to read about these kind of things, to listen to podcasts. Not everybody likes to read. I know when you talk about books, people get a bit, I don't have time to read. Yeah, but you can listen to a podcast, you can watch YouTube video. So the time that I used to watch movie, put YouTube video on your TV, watch YouTube podcasts and videos on parenting, learn about being a parent. That, I think, is going to save you so much time, and is a very strong form of self-care. So find time to do that. And now, just to cap it all up, I'm just going to say that do what is true to you. You will get so many ideas, so many suggestions, so many tips, so many advice about being a parent. But only you can parent the child that you have in your house. Only you can do it the way you can do it. So do it the way you can do it, and do it the best way that you can do it, because that is why God gave you that child, you know. God gave you that child because the tools that you need to raise that child to be who God wants that child to be, you have it. You have all the tools in your toolbox. Now you need to just open it, bring out the right one at the right time, and start using it. And I trust that you will do well. I believe strongly that you will do well. The fact that you're watching this video, I pray that your children will not be lost, that your children will be great in the land of the living. You will not lose anyone in the name of Jesus. I pray that your parenting journey is blessed. And at the end of time, at the right time, you'll be surrounded by your children, your grandchildren, and they will have good report of you. They will say that indeed you are blessed. I thank you for listening today, and I leave you with the peace of God. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening. Thank you. Bye.